Hey guys, just a heads up that this video was recorded before the Dalton Varsho trade went down. So if you're wondering why we did not give our reaction to that trade, it is because the video was recorded beforehand. However, if you want to see our immediate reaction, you can check out our live stream that we did earlier today under the video section. Also, we're going to have a big video coming tomorrow on Christmas Eve, breaking down the whole trade and all of our reactions as well. And, more videos in the coming days about that. That being said, this video still has tons of relevant information and cool stuff. So make sure, if you enjoy the video, watch it all the way through. And we're close to 5K subs, maybe by Christmas. So hit the sub button if you enjoy. But yeah, without further ado, enjoy the rest of the video.
Toronto Blue Jays president Mark Shapiro has stressed that there's a lot of offseason left to go and many more moves will be coming. And news has come out that Ross Stripling wanted to come back to Toronto but could not turn down the San Francisco Giants offer. So we'll break all that down on Jays Digest. What's up, Jays fans? I'm your host, Peter Vryonis, alongside host Nick Gosse. A lot to get into today, but first I want to thank you all for the support. It's been unreal. Couldn't have thought of a better Christmas present to get than all this support from you guys. And we want to wish you a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. Just thanks once again.
Yeah, you guys have been unbelievable. And thank you. Just celebrate the holidays, enjoy it, and enjoy this video. Let's just get right into it. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Daily Jays content. But first, and the main topic of this video, we have a couple today. Mark Shapiro spoke out on free agency plans. Now, most of the time, we had a couple videos on it in the past. It has been not Mark Shapiro's and Ross Atkins who has spoken out. And, I found, in their time here, Shapiro tends to be a bit better with the media and just speaking about the plans. It makes a bit more sense. So I'll pop up this screenshot here. He went on to say this. Shapiro stresses there's a lot of offseason left. I'd expect us to make more moves, whether that's trades or free agents, probably bullpen and lineup focused. And he also said, asked about if they are happy with Kikuchi or White as the fifth starter. Depends on opportunities as the offseason goes along. So it sounds like the Jays are open to adding a starter. And if opportunities to make our lineup better are out there and we can make our rotation a lot better, we will pivot to that. He did say one more thing, which we'll touch on in a minute, but let me get all your thoughts on what he had to say today. And personally, I'm very happy with that, and it sounds good.
Yeah, Mark Shapiro's he's a vet in this business. He knows how it works. He doesn't show all of his cards, and he's just a smart president. And Mark Shapiro, Ross Atkins, they get a lot of flack for whatever reason. I don't know why, but they've had a very successful Blue Jays tenure, in my opinion. And they managed after Alex Anthopoulos traded away all of our prospects. We were a playoff team just 3 years later. So that just shows you how committed they are to winning. But I'd like for them this offseason to just say this is it, and we're going all in. We're going to surround our core with whatever talent they need to be surrounded with, and we're going to try to bring a World Series back to Toronto for the first time in 30 plus years. That's what I want to hear out of Mark Shapiro. That's what I want to hear out of Ross Atkins. I think it's time. I think this is it. This is the make or break year for the Toronto Blue Jays, and the next 12 months are going to dictate probably the very immediate future of this team, I think.
Yeah, I agree for the most part. Obviously, our core is still young, but extending them is going to be a task. But I think this year is absolutely our make or break year for this core and what it means for, this, general group of players, simply because if we don't perform again, that's been, 3 years now with them. And I don't know. I'm still of the side that we have a lot of years left with this core to, work it out. But it is definitely moves do need to be made. And, I agree with what he said. And what he said is promising, especially, I'll pop it up one more time, regarding the Kikuchi thing. Because me and you, we both think and, we expect Kikuchi or White to be the fifth starter or a mix of the both. But maybe, just maybe, we'll trade for a starting pitcher or sign another one that'll elevate the rotation. Because I don't have too much faith in Kikuchi or White as that fifth starter. I'm not sure about you.
No, I don't. I'd like for us to go add another guy, whether it be a stopgap before Ricky Tiedemann is ready to come up to the majors, or whether it be a long-term option, like someone we get off the trade market. So I'm sure there's a wealth of options there that the Blue Jays can go and explore. But I'll say it again, I think this is it. And the core is very young, but they're not getting any cheaper the more games they play. So you're going to have to win soon. And not only that, like, yes, they're still very young and they have years of control, but if it's the same thing over and over again and the Blue Jays keep hitting a wall come October, you're not necessarily showing your star players like Vladdy, like Bo, like Alek Manoah that you're like doing whatever you can to win a World Series. So that weighs on them as well. That'll be in the back of their minds once they hit free agency for sure.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think this is the next year or maybe two, but probably this year is going to be a big tell regarding how just see how the team performs and maybe because they haven't made a run in the playoffs at all. We had the COVID shortened year, we missed the playoffs, and then last year was just brutal. So it also depends a lot on how they value or how they know internally about whether Bo and all those guys are going to sign, and they know much better than we do. But just the final thing he touched on here. He says they have a good sense of the potential trade market, stresses a lot of offseason left, don't panic, assume we have a good understanding of the market and how to get better. That means we could trade or go to the free agency and assume we are still going to make moves. Absolutely loved the answers in general from Shapiro today, and it's what you want to see. We're still open to making moves, as sometimes Atkins is a bit more conservative. This is how we should be feeling, whether or not you think this is the that's obviously not necessarily a make or break year, but whether or not you think or your thoughts are on that, we need to make moves now. We still need to
Yeah.
improve our team because the way it's constructed, maybe we could go all the way, but there's a few, a couple holes we need to be fixed that before opening day.
Yeah, and Mark Shapiro and Ross Atkins, they've pulled all the right strings. I haven't been mad at any of the moves that they've made in their Blue Jays tenure. Maybe you could say Yusei Kikuchi or whatever, but in hindsight, like of course you're going to say that's not a great deal, but at the time it made a lot of sense, and a lot of Blue Jay fans were excited that they're getting a lefty that throws hard, that had a good year the year before. So I think they've made all the right moves, and I think they're going to realize as well that this is the time. Like your core's not getting any younger. Not yes, Vladdy and Bo are still young. They still have years to go. But George Springer, I mean, he's getting older and he's getting more injury prone, and he's still one of the game's best players. So you want to try to surround him with as much talent as you can, because he's a special player once the postseason rolls around. So I think they're going to pull all the right strings in this offseason. It won't be any different from any of the other moves that they've made, and I think they realize that they need to make a push here.
Yeah, I agree, and we'll see. Let us know in the comments what your thoughts are on that. Obviously, we'll see how it goes, and hopefully some more moves are made, whether they're big or small. But let's get into the second topic of the video, which is Ross Stripling reveals he was interested in returning, which kind of stung a little bit on Twitter, stung for Jays fans, because Ross Stripling as our fifth starter would have been really good, and it would have really solidified what we could have done. So I'll pop up the first screenshot. It came down. This is a interview with Stripling. I'll just go through all the quotes and we'll have a quick breakdown on it. It came down to Toronto or San Francisco. He had several teams courting him as he became a free agent. And ultimately, he chose to go with the Giants. But it came down to Toronto or San Francisco. So we were still in the mix. And he said, once Andrew Heaney signed with the Rangers and got an opt-out clause after the first year, that kind of opened the door to asking for it and thinking it's available. He's referring to the clause in his contract. He's in a similar situation to me, coming off a really good year but didn't throw a ton of innings. And then the big nuke, what he said was, probably spilling the tea a bit too much, but the Jays. My timeline could be a little off, but they should have known that I was off the board when they signed Bassett. But that doesn't mean that they weren't looking to do both at the same time. So he kind of revealed the Jays were, despite a lot of people saying it was one or the other, they were interested in both, which bodes well for the rest of free agency.
Yeah, Ross Stripling would have been the perfect fifth starter, and I would have been totally confident in the Jays rotation. And even heading into October, Ross Stripling probably would have shifted to the bullpen. A four-man rotation of Barrios, Bassett, Manoah, Gosman. It's pretty filthy, man. I mean, I still think the Jays should try and get a lefty in that last spot there, but it's not necessarily the end all be all. There's a lot of very good right-handed hitters in the AL East, so it's not that much of a pressing issue for me. But I'd like to diversify it a little bit. But Ross Stripling would have been the perfect fifth starter on this team, and just another guy that is just a consummate professional. And it's too bad that he's gone, but I have no doubt that it'll be unbelievable in San Francisco.
Yeah, really good guy. No issues whatsoever. He was phenomenal. And, he pitched to a 2.92, I believe, ERA last year, and he would have continued to do that, which I have my doubts about continuing to pitch to that level. But even a mid-3 ERA, that lineup and that rotation would be, one of the best in the MLB. It's so deep, and
Yeah,
I feel confident every day, especially with the Barrios bouncing back. But I don't know. I'm a bit. It kind of stung a little bit to hear this because
it
I thought
did.
it was one or the other, but clearly they were going for both. But it bodes well for maybe a potential trade coming. But let us know in the comments what your thoughts are on that. And the last topic of the video, which we'll just quickly touch on, is a slight Bryan Reynolds trade update. We obviously had one a couple videos ago, or maybe yesterday's video, and I'll pop this up now. This was from. Oop, that's the wrong one. So basically, this was another interview on a podcast. He basically asked, regarding a Reynolds trade, what team/top 100 guys make sense to you? Any chance at all of the Pirates making him happy and giving him a long-term offer? And this was the big thing he said here. There's no chance in this coming back together based on what I know. It's just a matter of when he's dealt. Anybody willing to deal multiple top 100 guys or someone with the capital to go, say, top 50 with some other quality pieces around it, and he mentions the Dodgers, Jays, Yankees, Padres, Rangers. The big thing here is this guy, I believe a Pirates reporter, no chance he returns, and it's only a matter of when the trade gets done. So I don't know. I know you want him. We obviously had the Ricky Tiedemann video, and a lot of people in the comments disagree with your take on the big package. But regardless of the package, I think we should do everything we can to get him within reason.
Yeah, I think so too. And it's been very well documented that the Pirates want pitchers in return. They have their position players pretty much set, whether it be Brian Hayes at third base, O'Neill Cruz at shortstop, Rodolfo Castro at second base. Their catching position is pretty set, and first baseman. I mean, pretty much anyone can play first base as long as you can hit. So I think their infield is set. They're really focusing in on pitching prospects right now. And I don't know if many teams have the type of pitching capital that the Blue Jays have, whether it be Ricky Tiedemann, Yosver Zulueta, Brandon Barriera. We have a wealth of options in that aspect. It'd be tough. It'd be tough to see Ricky Tiedemann go, but like I said, I think this is the year where the Jays need to go all in. And as great as I think Ricky Tiedemann is going to be in the major leagues, he's not going to help you too much this season. So if you think your window is either this year or next year, you can't necessarily rely on a 20-year-old that hasn't pitched more than 100 innings in a season. So uh, if you can acquire an all MLB talent, a guy that's been an MVP candidate in the past in Bryan Reynolds, then you do that. You make that call, and it sucks to see a guy go, but it doesn't take long to replenish a farm system in the major leagues, especially the way the Blue Jays develop prospects and the way that they draft.
Yeah. Ricky Tiedemann, his upside is crazy, and it's the big question of the offseason. And I'm going to be honest, I would not be surprised if they ended up trading Ricky Tiedemann for Bryan Reynolds in the next month or two.
That's what it takes. That's what it takes to get a player like that. And it sucks, but to get something good, you got to give up something good, and it's just the nature of the business.
Yeah, and it'll definitely take Ricky Tiedemann to get it done if it comes down to that. And it's honestly just a matter of what other pieces, if they decide to go that route. But that'll wrap up the video. Lots of news dropped. We have lots of content coming, especially after Christmas. And like we said before, happy holidays. We might see you on a Christmas Day video as well, a short thing. But take care of yourselves, and we'll see you guys maybe in tomorrow's video. Maybe we don't know yet, but we'll see you then.
Happy holidays.